This is the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial and diamond expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping our show on August the 3rd, 2017. It's a Thursday, 8:41 Mountain. Radio show runs Sunday afternoon on 6:30 CHED at 3 o'clock. It's a long weekend. Heritage Days happening in Edmonton, also in Camrose. Today is the final day of the Big Valley Jamboree. It actually turned out to be a very nice weekend weather-wise. Hopefully you're enjoying your time out and about. And don't forget, our radio show is portable. If you ever miss a show, they're archived on Harold's websites, HESradio.com and rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Rarecoloreddiamonds.com, HESradio.com. And we should mention we have a podcast through iTunes. Type in The World Financial Report on Radio. You will find us there. We're portable. We go anywhere you do. Harold's other website is hsfineauctions.com. There's an auction underway right now. We will talk about it a little later in the program. Our featured diamond of the week from rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com, featured diamond of the week. You will see a 1.07 carat pear-shaped, fancy, vivid, yellow, internally flawless. I love the pear shape. This is a beauty of a diamond. See it. We have video of it. Featured diamond of the week, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. We'll talk about diamonds in the second half of the program. The big news of the week, the Dow hit 22,000. Remember, we're taping on Thursday here now. 22,000 on Wednesday due to Apple. Apple reported their earnings. They had the stock up about 6% at one point. It pushed the Dow through 22,000. And coming up after Harold's commentary, we're going to run down new market numbers for Toronto. And their housing market took a major hit in July. We'll have more after Harold's commentary. But Harold, you had talked about the stock market. In fairness, you felt it would continue to go up, and it has. The Dow hitting 22,000, and no doubt will more than likely breach that at some point and continue on up. And I guess the question is, at what point do we have a major correction, or do we get into a bear market? And that's what everyone is wondering about, the million-dollar question.
That is a million-dollar question, and nobody really knows. But the fact is that it's only a few stocks that are pushing the Dow up. It was Apple, it's either Amazon, it's Google. You know, it's these massive companies that are just taking over. Amazon, the owner of Amazon, is now the richest man in the world. So the fact is that things are changing right in front of our eyes. On one hand, you're seeing major retailers that have been around forever disappearing. Sears and Sports Authority and Macy's and so many of these retail giants that are basically getting out of the retail business. They've been closing 2, 3, 4, 500 stores, and it just blows me away to think that, you know, people won't be going into an actual department store type of thing to try on clothes or to buy clothes. They feel more comfortable buying those things over the internet through Amazon. There's no doubt that Amazon will be the biggest retailer, you know, of all time. But it's really boiling down to just a few corporations that are doing extremely well. Tesla also, after hours, went up $25 based on, you know, their numbers type of thing. So you've got about 5 or 6 actual corporations that are doing well at a time when, in the United States, things are not going well. In fact, things are not going well anywhere in the world financially at this point. You know, but the U.S. took a huge blow the other day when President Trump couldn't get rid of Obamacare type of thing. That, to me, is a major loss, primarily because the corporations, the major corporations, are stuck with paying the benefits, mostly the medical benefits, of all their employees unless they're part-time. And what's happening is that they're getting a huge hiring of part-time workers, but the fact is that they're doing it so they don't have to pay these unbelievable benefits. Don't forget, in the U.S., a condition type of thing would be covered under insurance, which again is just unfathomable to actually believe that could happen. So things are not great in the States, but we are going to see a couple interest rate hikes. So the fact is that We saw an interest rate hike in Canada, which I'm still scratching my head over. It makes no sense to me why in the world the Canadian government would raise their own interest rates at a time when there's no inflation. So one of the reasons that you raise interest rates is to fight inflation and to strengthen your dollar. But Canada doesn't want a strong dollar in the sense because, you know, it's our exports that are important, and if you raise interest rates, it just makes it more expensive to export. So obviously, you know, if you want to spur the economy, you keep your interest rates lower. The other thing that is concerning is obviously that there was a report that came out saying that Canadians have the highest amount of debt in history. Never has there been a time in history in Canada where we've had more debt. So why did the government raise interest rates? It only makes paying that debt back more expensive. And I'm talking about credit card debt and mortgage debt and college debt and, you know, all that type of debt. I'm not talking about, you know, the corporate debt type of thing. So what we're talking about is they raised interest rates, and they said they're going to continue to do it at a time when Canadians are suffering because they've got so much debt, and now it's going to cost more to pay your credit card bills and your other loans type of thing. And then the craziest thing of all is they raise interest rates when the real estate market is crumbling. That makes no sense at all because unfortunately what happened in Toronto and in Vancouver, and I think much more in Toronto, was the fact that people were now speculating with their own homes. And that's the worst thing that you could ever do. You know, you get caught up in these bull markets and you think that you're missing something. So all of a sudden you start trading in a market that you really don't know an awful lot about, but you see everybody around you, you know, making money, or you think they're making money. And the fact is you got to jump in too. But when you jump into a market like this at the very end of it, which a lot of people did, you're the ones that end up getting hurt. And when the market dropped 30% 2 months in a row in real estate, which is unheard of, that doesn't happen in real estate. That should never happen because most people's net worth is in their home. That's where most of their money is. So why gamble with something like that? Now that interest rates are going higher, it only makes the mortgages that much more expensive. So again, it's a head scratcher as to why the Canadian government would do that. But then again, we were scratching our head last year when they approved C-15 bill that allowed bail-ins, and you know, Randy and I were shaking our head going, why in the world is the Canadian government doing this to us? Because it makes no sense. It's only making it that much more difficult and expensive, you know, to live type of thing at a time when the economy is terrible. Let's face it, oil prices are low. The real estate market's crumbling. The Canadian dollar dropped off substantially at that particular point. Commodities in general were doing not much. So again, things were not great. It was a wrong move to raise interest rates, and we're going to see that within the very near future. On top of that, the markets over the summer have been a little bit lethargic. Gold's trading in a range. We're trading right now right at around $1,270. I think there's about a $200 premium built into the price of gold for wartime. And again, North Korea is still testing missiles. They say that they have missiles that will reach the mainland of the United States, New York or Chicago. They did test some long-range missiles last week, and they did fly a lot further than the ones previous. And I am concerned about that because you've got a president in Trump in the United States that is extremely inexperienced. He's a hothead. He makes rash decisions, and that's not a good situation as far as going to war against a country like North Korea that has over 1 million people in their army. So I believe there's about a $200 premium built into the price of gold at this particular time. If something does happen in that area, North Korea with the United States and China and all that, we're in for some serious market movements. That's why you really need to look at alternative hard assets as the assets that will do best, because if we did go to war with North Korea, there's no way in the world the stock market's staying up. There's no way in the world that these markets are not going to get volatile and crazy. One of the markets you need to own is gold. There's no doubt that gold is a hedge against all these bad things happening. So the fact is that if we did have problems with North Korea, and it certainly looks like that could happen, you don't want to chase after gold. You want to already own it. You want it in your portfolio, because it's possible that if something happened overnight, that gold opens up $100 higher the next day. And then in the cash market, where there's no limit, gold could go up $200, $300, $400, $500, and then we're chasing it like people were chasing real estate in Toronto and Vancouver. You don't chase the markets. You get ready to make your move, you put your position into the market, and you sit back and let the market do its thing. We had the biggest bull market in history in gold going from 2000 to 2011, and we were involved in that market every single step of the way. It was our radio show that, first of all, spotlighted gold at $250 because nobody was thinking of gold at that point. The reason that we loved it was that we saw the U.S. dollar coming off its highest level, and there was a direct correlation between gold and the U.S. dollar. When the U.S. dollar is strong, gold is weak, and vice versa. So we saw that that the U.S. dollar was starting to come off its extreme highs and starting to drop, and that's when we started recommending gold in a huge way, and it was the biggest bull market of all time. Again, from $250 to $1,900 was an unbelievable move in gold. We believe that that's possible again. We believe that the price of gold could skyrocket given the right situations. Right now, again, gold's trading in a range, as is silver. Silver's trading at about $1,674. So again, we're going to continue to monitor the markets. August is one of the slowest months of the year. But again, we'll continue to report and let you know everything happening. Even in these quiet markets, any disruption, any political situation could make these markets run. And we're on top of it all the time. We monitor the markets 24 hours a day, and we're always here to report and to talk to our clients. On top of that, you got oil trading within a range, and the Canadian dollar actually came back very, very strong. It was shocking to see and to why this actually happened, but at the same time, the U.S. dollar was falling, and a lot of that had to do with the fact of a lack of confidence in President Trump and some of the internal situations happening in the United States. Do I feel that that's the trend that's going to continue? Absolutely not. There's no way, barring, again, any type of major skirmish in North Korea or whatever, but there's no way in the world that I do not see the U.S. dollar continuing to be the strongest currency. There's no way that the U.S. dollar is not going to continue to rise and make the type of moves that we've seen it do in the past. So, again, even though it has pulled back to about the 94-cent level, I would be a buyer of the dollar over the long term because I believe the dollar will continue to be the strongest currency. So, again, at this point, Randy, not a tremendous amount is happening in the markets because we're heading into the two slowest months of the year, which is July and August. But again, the markets have held in very, very strong. Gold's sitting in a very good place right now, as is silver, and these markets could be ready to poise. Any disruption whatsoever could make gold take off. There's a lot of people right now that think that the stock market is going to plummet, that is way overvalued, and the gold is getting ready to run. We have a gold program. Now, it's not for smaller investors at this point because we're selling physical kilo bars of gold. These are magnificent bars. They're spectacular. They're 99.9% gold. They're kilos. We sell it at the bid price, so there's no spread between the bid and the ask. You're actually buying gold from us for less than anybody else in the country or in the world could sell it to you. We do this for our Canadian clients because of our association with our clients. And the fact is that if we're going to enter into another bull market in metals, we want to make certain that our clients do it the right way. If you buy gold from us, let's say at $1,250, at $1,250.01, you're in profit. We don't make any commission, and we don't take any spread, and we will even manage the gold for you and store it if that's something that would be of interest to you. On top of that, we have programs that are private investments that we allow our clients to partner with us on. One of the programs pays close to 25% a year and pays monthly. Most of our Canadian clients that are retired have retired on this program. It's called Natural Diamond Investment Company, and it pays 24% a year. So if you're getting to the time to where you're wondering, how in the world am I going to retire? How am I ever going to, stop working type of thing? We can help you with that. If you're in retirement savings plans, the chances are you will never, ever retire. The stock market, 90% of the people that trade it lose their money, and that's not the place for most investors. If you're interested in learning how you can make as much as 25% a year on your money in U.S. dollars, give me a call. I'll spend as much time with you as you need and explain everything that we're doing. These are private investments with my companies only, and then on top of that, we will allow you to buy gold at a price that nobody else could sell it to you for. So again, Randy, right now the markets are a little quiet, but they are supported. There's no doubt that gold which could be trading a lot lower than it is at this point, is pretty firm at $1,268, $1,270. I like the long-term implications of the gold market.
Speak personally, privately with Harold Siegel. 1-800-432-1022. 1-800-432-1022. Anything discussed, completely confidential. The call is free, and now is the time to pick up the phone and speak with Harold. If you're sitting in a GIC making less than 1%, you want to start making money today, there are programs in place that Harold has that will get you doing that immediately. RareColoredDiamonds.com is the website. Telephone number 1-800-432-1022. In the second half of the show, we're going to talk about diamonds. This week's diamond is a 1.07 carat pear-shaped fancy vivid yellow internally flawless. It's absolutely gorgeous. See it online. RareColoredDiamonds.com, featured diamond of the week. And this is a little breaking news from this morning. Toronto home prices suffered their worst monthly decline in 17 years. Home prices in Canada's largest city posted their biggest monthly drop in at least 17 years in July, and sales plummeted as government efforts to cool the market and the near collapse of a mortgage lender made buyers very leery. Now, the benchmark Toronto property price, which tracks a typical home over time, dropped 4.6% to 773,000 Canadian from June. That's the biggest monthly drop since records for the price index began in 2000, according to Bloomberg calculations, and brings prices down to roughly March levels. Prices are still up 18% from the same month a year ago, according to the Toronto Real Estate Board. They go on to say transactions tumbled 40% to 5,921, the biggest year-over-year decline since 2009, led by detached homes. The average price, which includes all property types, rose 5% to $746,218 Canadian from July 2016. That compares with a 17% increase at this time last year. We have that story for you. We can send it out to you. Also, in our free weekly newsletter, the companion to our radio show, we have an article on what a disaster it is, how difficult it is to rent a place in Toronto. If you're trying to rent an apartment or condo, a house, it's near impossible. In fact, people, you know how there's, they have these dating apps. Well, people have almost gone to the point where they're trying to get a place, and they're almost doing it in the sense of a dating app. Like, pick me. I would like to come look at your place. I want a place to rent. And you can see this story in our free weekly newsletter. Connect with Harold. We'll be happy to send it out to you. 1-800-432-1022. 1-800-432-1022. RareColoredDiamonds.com is the website. And one of the stories, too, that caught our attention this week, this is a big one here now. How would you like to go to the bank, and we've heard of this before, and not be able to get your money out? The EU explores account freezes to prevent runs at failing banks. European Union states are considering measures which would allow them to temporarily stop people withdrawing money from their accounts to prevent bank runs, an EU document reviewed by Reuters revealed. The move is aimed at helping rescued lenders that are deemed failing or likely to fail, but critics say it could hit confidence and might even hasten the withdrawals at the first rumors of a bank being in trouble. The proposal, which has been in the works since the beginning of the year, comes less than 2 months after a run on deposits at Banco Popular, and that was a Spanish lender. It also comes amid a bitter wrangle among European countries over how to deal with troubled banks. Roughly a decade after a financial crash that required the European central banks to print billions of euros to prevent a prolonged economic slump, giving supervisors the power to temporarily block bank accounts at ailing lenders is a feasible option, according to a paper prepared by the Estonian presidency of the EU. And they acknowledge that member states are divided on this issue. EU countries, which already allow a moratorium on bank payouts in insolvency procedures at a national level, like Germany, support the measure, officials say. The desire is to prevent a bank run, so when a bank is in critical situations, it's not going to be pushed over the edge. A person familiar with the German government's thinking. But there you go, Harold. Another situation where we talked in the past about bank bail-ins. We saw it in Europe. Although here recently they didn't do a bank bail-in, even though they were supposed to, with some of the banks that were rescued in Spain and in Italy. And we know Bill C-15 here in Canada is the bank bail-in bill that includes that provision that, yes, if a bank failed, what they would do, obviously, is if you have CDIC up to $100,000, it means you're covered. Although I'm somewhat skeptical about that in the sense of how would they have enough money to cover all the banks? They don't have enough money to do it, the CDIC. So anything beyond that, they would give you shares in the bank, and that's called bail-in. And Harold would be happy to explain more to you if you connect with him at 1-800-432-1022, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. But that is the law of the land here in Canada. It is in Europe, and it wasn't quite followed here recently. But you can see they're already talking about suspending, if you have a problem with the bank in the EU, suspending accounts at failing banks. And Harold, we have about 1 minute left.
Well, I got to say, Randy, that the banks scare me to death. The fact is that, it's very, very difficult to operate a business or operate your life without using the bank type of thing. And when you lose confidence in the banks, it becomes very, very difficult. For example, if you're only insured in Canada up to $100,000, if the bank fails and you've got $500,000 in that bank, you're losing $400,000. How do you deal with something like that? So the banks all over the world, we don't trust. The banks are horrible to deal with, extremely difficult to deal with. You're dealing with such an impersonal situation, and it's extremely frustrating. We've, experienced it ourselves. But the fact is that you should never keep more than $100,000 in your personal bank account, because again, with the economy in Canada and the economy in other countries around the world, you never know when these banks are going to get into trouble, and you do not want to lose your money to a situation like that.
In fact, a friend of mine went to his bank here in Canada and asked the branch manager about bank bail-ins and Bill C-15. The manager had not heard anything about it, did not know anything about it. So if you'd like to learn more and where you could potentially protect your money if we got into those scenarios, speak with Harold, 1-800-432-1022, rarecoloreddiamonds.com is the website. We're going to come back and talk about diamonds, also the auction that's underway at hsfineauctions.com, as the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall, continues right after this. Welcome back to the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial and diamond expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping our show on August the 3rd, 2017. Our time right now is 9:06 Mountain. It's a long weekend, and we hope you're having an outstanding time. Heritage Day is underway, Big Valley Jamboree, and just enjoy the time off. We have to wait now until September before we get another little break. Connect with Harold at rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, 1-800-432-1022. There's an auction underway online right now that Harold has at his auction site, hsfineauctions.com. We'll talk about that momentarily. Our featured diamond of the week from rarecoloreddiamonds.com is a 1.07 carat, pear-shaped, fancy, vivid, yellow, internally flawless. It is absolutely gorgeous, and you can see it online at rarecoloreddiamonds.com, featured diamond of the week. We will run down some auction results that happened in the first 6 months of this year. We've been going through all the different months, and we have gotten to May 30th, Christie's Hong Kong Magnificent Jewels Sale, and we'll talk about that momentarily. But Harold, our featured diamond of the week, I'm very partial to pear cuts. They're not easy to do. Very, very difficult to take a rough diamond and turn it into a pear-shaped. But when you have a diamond that has the color that this does, the pear-shaped on top of it, the size, this is a real winner.
Oh, you bet. I know you love the pear shapes. That's one of the reasons we put it up. But you're right. First of all, the most popular and easiest cuts of diamonds are radian cuts, which are square or rectangular cut, and then cushion cuts, which are basically the same as a radian cut, except they've got rounded edges. So I'd say 80% of diamonds that are cut in either a square cut or in a cushion cut. So when you start getting into the more rare cuts, like the pear shapes, the hearts, the emerald cuts, the rounds, those types, there's premiums to those because, again, they're much more difficult to cut, and the cutter is only going to cut that cut if it's going to be an exceptional diamond when you're cutting a diamond like this one. If it's an everyday type of, SI1, heavily flawed diamond, it doesn't matter. They're not considered investment quality. But when you're talking about an internally flawless, vivid color, and vivid is the highest color grade given by the GIA. So the way the GIA, Gemological Institute of America, grades diamonds is that, as far as clarity goes, is you've got internally flawless and flawless, which are the top. Then you've got VVS1 and VVS2. It means it's got very slight inclusions, maybe one or two inclusions that are not visible to the naked eye. Then you've got VS1 and VS2, and those are just slightly more flawed than the VVS1s. Then you start getting into the SI1s, 2s, and 3s, and the fact is that still in most cases they're considered eye clean, that you're not going to see the actual visible flaw with your eye. But then when you start getting into the I1s, 2s, and 3s, that's where you start to see the flaws. Now, in yellow diamonds, for example, you only want to own internally flawless. It's the best that you can possibly get. You don't want to own a flawed yellow diamond. But then on top of that, the vivid color is the best that you can get. Forget about the faints and the lights and the fancy lights. You got fancy yellow, which are known as canary diamonds, fancy intense yellow, which are slightly stronger in color. Then you've got the fancy vivids, which is the highest saturated color of all, and those are the ones that tend to be the most expensive. So when you're looking at an investment quality diamond, even a lesser expensive diamond, sometimes we bring auction results of what's happening in the diamond market. You're talking about diamonds that sell for 40, 50 million. But most diamonds don't sell for that. Most diamonds sell, for 20, 50, 100, 200,000 in that area. And they're still excellent investments. So the fact is that this particular yellow is over a carat, which is very beneficial. On top of that, it's got a perfect clarity. It's internally flawless. On top of that, the color is the best you can possibly get, which is vivid. And the pear shape is one of the rarest cuts. So it's a phenomenal diamond, one of my favorites. I know Randy loves it. And when you see the color of these diamonds, if you put a vivid yellow diamond next to any other yellow diamond, you'll see exactly what we're talking about. The saturation of color is so strong, and that's what adds additional value to the diamond. So love the featured diamond. It's a great diamond to get involved in investing. These are great long-term investments. You hold on to them like you would hold on to a retirement savings plan, 20, 30 years type of thing, and you're going to find that these diamonds can go up substantially. They don't drop in value because most diamonds are one of a kind. Very seldom will you ever, and I mean very, very seldom, will you ever find a set of diamonds that could match. Very seldom will you find, and you'll never find a diamond that is exactly the same as another diamond. So you're talking very, very few of these diamonds ever come onto the marketplace. So even a diamond like this particular one, which is a 107 fancy vivid yellow internally flawless diamond, that's a diamond that over the years will increase by 15% a year. If you put that diamond away for your retirement, if you're in your 30s and you anticipate retiring when you're in your 60s type of thing, you hold on to that diamond. You keep it in your portfolio. You put it into a safety deposit box. It's got tremendous value to you. God forbid anything ever happened with the world markets and you needed to start all over again, you've got an asset that you can do that with. We've seen stocks go to zero. Back in 2008, we saw General Motors and Chrysler and the major banks and insurance companies almost all go out of business if the U.S. government didn't print money and bail them out. But that doesn't happen in a diamond. A diamond will always be worth something, just like gold will always be worth something. When you look at these currency markets, sometimes the currencies are backed by nothing. The Canadian dollar, the U.S. dollar, the Aussie dollar, they're all backed by the good faith of the governments. But what happens when the governments get into trouble and the governments go under? And how about these cryptocurrencies? These currencies like Bitcoin are actually backed by zero, by nothing. And they trade like they're commodities. Bitcoin has gone from basically nothing when it came out to where it hit $3,000 the other day. A Bitcoin, how in the world does that happen? But these are the type of investments today that are alternative assets, that are not your standard stocks and bonds, and most people have never done well in stocks and bonds or real estate unless you know what you're doing. We just saw a situation in Toronto where everybody got creamed that was speculating in the real estate market. So those are things that you want to shy away from. You want to stick with what you know, and if you want help from an expert, that's why that expert is there to help you. We're there to help our clients and speak to our clients anytime. So you need to look at alternative investments today that will hold their value and give you an opportunity over the long term to put away some serious money, just like you do with your home. In actual fact, a diamond is very much like your home. When you get married, when you first start off in life and you're going to have kids and all that, you buy your first home. And you stay in that home for sometimes 20, 30, 40 years. And that home hopefully will build value and value over time. And when the time comes to retire or to do whatever, you've got that huge asset. Well, that's the same with a diamond. The fact is that you put away for a long time. When you are going to retire, if you don't need it, you pass it down to other members of the family. That's how real wealth is built. Just look at, what happened with Shirley Temple's diamond. I know we bring this up a lot, but there's not a better example. That back in 1940, her father bought a blue diamond for her and the family. Now that was 76 years ago. But he paid $7,100 for the diamond, and it sold last year for $25 million. The fact is that the longer you hold on to these type of investments, the more and more and more they're worth. And that's what happens in diamonds, and that was what's supposed to happen in your retirement savings plans. The difference is that your retirement savings plans are in paper assets, and they go up and then they plummet down, and then they become volatile, and then they crash. And those are not the type of markets that you want to put your retirement into. So that's basically what we do. We're in the alternative asset business. We sell assets that are not paper. We sell assets that are real, that you can hold, that you own outright. Our physical gold will ship directly to you in kilos. They're absolutely magnificent. Put them in your own bank, bury them in your backyard, or we'll trade it for you, and we will actually store it for you at Brinks or Malka Amit. So we do try to do everything we can to help our clients make money. We have programs in place right now that pay over 25% a year. I know it sounds unheard of, but it's been going on for 5 years now. So the fact is that if you need to get into alternative investments, we would appreciate you give us the opportunity. We know our business. We've been in business over 35 years, and we've been able to help our clients do extremely well. So again, Randy, no matter how volatile and crazy things are in the world today, there is some light at the end of the tunnel, and we can certainly help our clients get there.
The call is free, 1-800-432-1022. Mark this number down, 1-800-432-1022. What have you got to lose? Absolutely nothing. Call is free. Anything discussed with Harold is confidential. And if you can be making more money with your investments that Harold has to offer versus where you are now, why would you not take a look at it? It only makes sense. RareColoredDiamonds.com is the website. 1-800-432-1022 is the number to call. And we have a beautiful featured diamond of the week. Last week, we had a 1.23 carat marquee cut, fancy, vivid, yellow, internally flawless. Now, marquee cut, that's another difficult cut to do. and it is absolutely gorgeous. This week, it's a 1.07 carat pear-shaped, fancy, vivid, yellow, internally flawless. You can see our featured diamond of the week. It's at rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, featured diamond. Now, let's take a look at auction results. As promised, we've been going through from the beginning of 2017, at the start of the year, the auctions from Christie's and Sotheby's. And we've made our way to Christie's Hong Kong Magnificent Jewel Sale, May 30th, 2017, Convention Hall, Hong Kong, China. If you'd like the full results, we'll be happy to send them out to you. The first lot, and it was a biggie, a lot 2077, an exceptional colored diamond ring by Mosieff. The rectangular cut, fancy, vivid blue diamond, weighing 3.98 carats, within a cushion and triangular-shaped pink diamond surround. The estimate on it was $8 million. It ended up going for $8.8 million. Now, lot 2074, a charming pair of colored diamond and diamond earrings, each set with a oval-shaped fancy purplish pink diamond, weighing approximately 4.64 to 4 carats. The estimate on it, $2.8 million. It went for $3.3 million. And this was a massive, massive winner. I double-checked this about 3 or 4 times to make sure that I was looking at it properly and we had all the right numbers. Lot 1941, a unique diamond and diamond ring from Etc. The hexagonal-shaped fancy intense blue diamond weighed approximately 3.37 carats, to the tapered baguette-cut diamond edges and rectangular-cut diamond gallery, each weighing 1.02 to 1 carats. And the estimate on this was $600,000 to $800,000. It sold for, in U.S., 2.7, almost $2.8 million. And that obviously was a massive, massive winner, 600 to 800 to 2.7. Now, some of the smaller diamonds, I want to focus on those because we always talk about the big ones. But let's talk about some of the smaller ones because there were some very nice increases there. Lot 1944, a colored diamond and diamond ring set with a rectangular cut fancy vivid yellow diamond weighing 2 carats. The estimate on it, $25,000. It went for $38,378. That's not bad. Very nice increase. And who knows what the original investment was. Lot 1945, a colored diamond and diamond ring centered upon a pear-shaped fancy intense greenish yellow diamond weighing 3.65 carats. The estimate on it, $38,000. It sold for $47,000, almost $48,000. It was $47,973. Lot 1946, a pair of colored diamond earrings and ear studs, each rectangular cut fancy yellow diamonds, weighing approximately 3.68 and 3.63 carats. The estimate on it, $45,000. It sold for just right around $55,968. Also, another smaller diamond, lot 1952, a colored diamond and diamond ring, oval-shaped fancy intense yellow diamond, weighing approximately 5.4 carats, 4 carats. The estimate on it, $50,000. It sold for $67,162. So, Harold, you can see, there obviously was a massive winner there with lot 1941, estimate $600,000 to $800,000, going for close to $2.8 million. But you can see with the smaller diamonds, and we pointed this out before, there are very nice gains to be made. And remember, when we give you the auction results, every diamond is individual unto itself. It's very hard to compare unless you were to go to Christie's or Sotheby's or deal with Harold and put your item up for auction. But the truth of the matter is, these are nature's art. Everything is individual. And you see that you can have one diamond, estimate on it, 600 to 800 going for 2.8. And then you have another diamond, 25,000 going for close to $38,000. It really depends on who's sitting in the seat, who wants the diamond, the quality of the diamond, the history behind it. Harold, there's so many variables involved when you get involved in this rare colored diamond market, but that's the beauty of it all, because you love the fact that not only can you wear this investment, but there's history behind it, and that can add to the value, as is the case with a Shirley Temple type blue diamond.
You better believe it. Again, and there's usually a story behind them. So obviously those are amazing returns, especially on that blue diamond that returned 400%. So that was unbelievable. We started our auction 3 weeks ago. Again, we started it off at the slowest time of the year, and the reason that we did that is that it's a new concept in auctions. So again, we wanted to ease into it and make certain that everything was working properly, and it certainly is. Very excited about it moving forward. So we're keeping up 10 items at a time. 3 items sold right away, 2 of the kilo silver coins sold right away, and 1 diamond sold right away. So again, that was just breaking into this new concept of auctions. We anticipate as we get into the fall and winter of this year that we'll be doing even better. We're continuously advertising, bringing in new clients from all over the world, and we believe that our auctions are going to be sensational. So we're adding new pieces as other pieces sell or don't sell. Not everything always sells at auctions. I think with Christie's and Sotheby's, of 100% of the items that they put up, they normally sell about 40 or 50% of them. We're hoping to do much better in our live auctions. Our average, we're selling 80 to 90%. So again, this is a newer concept. So far, I'm very pleased with what's happening. I anticipate that it will pick up substantially as we move in and people get back from vacation. You know, in Europe, no matter how bad things are financially, they take month-long vacations. I personally can't understand that. If business is slow or there's any concerns whatsoever, we don't take any vacations here. But again, no matter what in Europe, they're closed for a month, and you know that is obviously why sales are slower during that time of year. Very excited about some of our diamonds. We have it's an over 2 carat Asher cut, one of the rarest yellow diamonds in the world at this point. It's over 2 carats. It's vivid in color. It's an Asher cut, which is one of the rarest cuts that you'll ever get. It's a diamond worth up to $400,000. It's an amazing diamond. There's some smaller diamonds up there. There's some beautiful coins. We replaced the 2 coins that sold, which was the Libertad, which was a magnificent kilo Mexican silver coin. Weighs 2.2 pounds, or about 35 ounces. And then we sold the other kilo coin, which was the Aztec calendar, which was equally as beautiful. We replaced those with the year of the goats and I believe the year of the monkey. These are 2 beautiful kilo coins, and they have diamonds in their eyes. These are the Lunar series, and they are absolutely spectacular. So we just recently put up 2 beautiful new kilo silver coins to replace the 2 that sold, and those should do very, very well. Again, you know, you're talking that these are collectible coins. Coins are so beautiful that when you display them in your home and people actually see them, they can't stop looking at them, because the work and art and everything involved in making these kilo coins are just absolutely spectacular. So please visit 8 Seagull Fine Auctions. Take a look at what we're offering. There's some phenomenal deals up there. There's some magnificent investments up there, and it's an ongoing auction. We're not going to bring it down. So as something sells, we'll replace it with something else, and we hope to keep the auction going all year long. So please visit 8 Seagull Fine Auctions and bid on some of these beautiful pieces, and you're going to find that you could do very, very well at this auction. It's really a new concept that I believe is going to do extremely well.
HSFineAuctions.com. The auction is underway right now. HSFineAuctions.com. Go there, sign up, register, see the online catalog, and you can bid or not bid. It's really up to you, but I would advise bidding. There are some beautiful items, and one of the things that Harold has touched on is Elizabeth Taylor's amethyst, pearl, and diamond brooch. And this is one item that obviously is a museum piece because it's associated with Elizabeth Taylor, who is no longer with us and was a famous collector of not only diamonds, but jewelry as well, much coveted jewelry when it was sold at auction after her passing, most of it given to her by her many suitors, including her many husbands. But this is one piece that you can take a look at, Elizabeth Taylor's Amethyst Pearl and Diamond Brooch. Go check it out at hsfineauctions.com. The auction is underway. Get started now. Register, see the catalog, and start bidding. Our featured diamond of the week from rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Go to the website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, featured diamond of the week. And it is a beautiful pear-shaped. And I love the pear shape, as I mentioned before, 1.07 carat pear-shaped fancy, vivid, yellow, internally flawless. You can see it online at rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. And one of the things that we had last week on our show, for those that might have missed it, Rio Tinto came up with the Argyle Pink Diamond Tender. And that's something that we talk about every year, have for many, many years. And it's really one of the top auctions for rare colored diamonds. And Rio Tinto revealed its largest red diamond at a world-exclusive preview in New York City. Rio Tinto has unveiled what they believe the largest fancy red diamond in the history of the Argyle Pink Diamond Tender. During a world-exclusive preview in New York City last weekend, the 2.11 carat polished radiant cut diamond known as the Argyle Everglow, and they believe, and they don't give out the numbers, and they don't actually even give estimates. They don't give estimates, and they don't give out the numbers after they have been sold, but they were sort of asked, and one person let slip that they think it could go for around $10 million. The Argyle Everglow. It is the dazzling centerpiece of the 2017 Argyle Pink Diamonds Tender, an annual showcase of the rarest diamonds from Rio Tinto's Argyle mine, and they have a Canadian branch as well. Rio Tinto Copper and Diamonds Chief Executive Arnaud Sorat said, "We're delighted to announce this historic diamond at our tender preview, a testament to the unique Argyle ore body that continues to produce the world's rarest gems." And it's been around for 33 years. And we should note, it looks like it's going to be shutting down here in about 2020. It produces 90 to 95% of the world's pinks. At that point, they would probably have some pinks and reds tucked away in their vault for maybe a few years, and then that is it. But some of their big ones this year, Lot 1, the Argyle Everglow 2.11 carat radiant shaped fancy red diamond. Lot 2, the Argyle Isla 1.14 carat radiant shaped fancy red diamond. Lot 3, Argyle Aveline 2.42 carat cushion shaped fancy purple pink diamond. Lot 4, the Argyle Kalina 1.50 carat oval shaped fancy deep pink diamond. And Lot 5, the Argyle Liberté, and 0.91 carat radiant shaped fancy deep gray violet diamond. And they're calling these the custodians of the rare beauty, and that is the name of the tender for 2017. 58 diamonds in total. A total carat amount 49.39. Think about it, Harold. 58 diamonds for the world, a total carat of around 50 carats. And it's just something to behold when you see the picture of the 5 main diamonds that they have. Just unbelievable. These are the rarest of the rare, and if anyone could invest in them, they would be so lucky. And Harold, you know what? I apologize. We're just out of time here. I got so caught up in talking about the diamonds. But thank you for another great show.
It's my pleasure, and I certainly understand that, and I wish everybody a wonderful long weekend and a very profitable day.
Yes, have an outstanding long weekend. Connect with Harold, 1-800-432-1022. RareColoredDiamonds.com is the website. That's it. Another edition of the World Financial Report on radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall. We will talk to you next week.